So, hello viewers, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So, today I would like to share my US B-2 visa interview experience. So, I appeared at this US B-2 visa interview just a few days ago in US Embassy in Stockholm, the capital of Sweden. So actually, so as all of you know that US B2, there are two categories, US B1 and B2. So for B2, it's mainly for tourism or for pleasure purpose, or if you want to meet your friends or relatives in the United States, or for medical treatment purpose, if you want to visit the United States. For those issues, they issue the US B2 visa. And B1 is another class which mainly concerns business deal, business contract you need to sign, or you want to attend a seminar or workshop or conference in the United States. For those purposes, the B1 visa is issued. But generally, if you are approved either US B1 or B2 visa, basically they issue the both, like B1, B2 combined. So even if you apply for B2, they will give you B1, B2 both combined if you get the approved decision. So first of all, of course, I applied online. I filled up and submitted that DS 160 non-immigrant visa application form in the website. So it was actually they have some country specific. So first of all, I had to select the which embassy I want to select. So I selected that embassy, and against that embassy I selected the US embassy in Stockholm, and against that embassy I filled up and submitted the tourist visa, the B2 visa application, and the visa fee was 160 US dollar, 160 160 US dollar that I paid by debit card online. And so then for me, actually I applied online in 2022 August, and then I got the visa interview in 2023 March. So I should say around 7 months it took for me to get the visa interview schedule. Due to COVID-19, actually, there are some backlogs in many US embassies around the world. So there is a longer waiting time in the queues, actually. But it varies from country to country or city to city. Different embassies have different waiting time depending on your visa type all over the world. So now comes how my interview went. So as I said, I appeared at my interview just last month in March. So I would like to highlight a few important points the DS160 confirmation page. That is very important actually whenever you go to interview. So my interview was scheduled at 8 in the morning, so I was there at 7:30 in the morning. So it's better to be there at least half an hour before your scheduled time, because there are some security checks and many things, and they do not allow you to carry any laptop or any shoulder bag or any big bag or any briefcase, nothing. Just you are allowed to keep your money bag with you, keep your cell phone with you, yes, but just you carry a file folder where you keep all the documents, the printouts of the documents which are necessary for the visa interview. But other than that, you're not allowed to take any other bag or laptop, iPad, or whatever it is. So it's like airport type security checking they make at the embassy entrance. And so the most important document, I should say, the DS160 confirmation page, the confirmation page with a clear barcode you get after submitting your DS160 form and paying the visa fee. So after submitting the DS160 application, that is the confirmation page with barcode. That printout you have to keep with you along with the appointment letter. Yeah, and of course you have to keep the passport with you. And if you go for interview in an embassy of a country whose nationality you do not have, for me, like I hail from Bangladesh, and I selected US embassy in Stockholm. So in addition to my passport, also I had to carry my Swedish residence permit card to show that I am a lawful resident in Sweden. So that is also important to note. So like if I would select the US embassy in Dhaka, then basically I didn't need to show anything because my passport is from Bangladesh. But as my passport is Bangladesh and I am appearing at the interview in Sweden, so that's why I had to show that I have the lawful residence permit card to stay in Sweden. So that is also an issue you have to remember in case you are applying to an interview other than your country of nationality. And apart from that, so the passport, the online DS-160 confirmation page, and your one passport size photo, so which basically is taken within the last 6 months. These three documents actually very important, and during the entry they check your uh, passport and the DS-160 confirmation page. And then once you pass through the security and get inside the embassy, then one officer will take your passport, your DS-160 confirmation page, and one recent passport size photo with white background from you, which was taken in last 6 months, the photo. And then you have to wait. And then for me, I had to wait like around 10 to 15 minutes, not more than that. And then they called my name and the booth number. There are several booths, so then I went to that booth number, and there was one consular officer who conducted my interview. So during the interview, some documents you have to keep with you, like I applied for US B-2, the tourist visa. So for tourist visa, actually there are some important things you have to prove, like you have the economic solvency, you have the financial ability to make the tourism to go to US, and then how will you fund your expense, your hotel cost or accommodation cost, your other trip or airfare and subsistence cost, and so on. But more importantly, you have to prove your home country ties. This is the most important thing for the US B-2 tourist visa. So the consular officer wants to assess how strong your ties um, is basically with your home country. Then consular officer by default assumes that if I give you the tourist visa, they by default assume that you will go to US and then you will not come back. So then you have to prove that why I will come back. So then you have to prove that you have strong ties with your home country. So for me, like I am a PhD student here in Sweden, so I have just 4 years of PhD. I have just 1 year passed, so I have 3 more years to go. So that is an issue that, of course, I have a PhD here. So then it is very less likely that I will overstay in US and I will basically abandon my PhD, or basically my home country Bangladesh. So what assets or what bank balance I have in my home country in Bangladesh, movable or immovable asset, what I have in Bangladesh, whether I have a stable job or regular permanent job in Bangladesh or in Sweden, which basically will attract me to go back to my home country instead of overstaying in the United States on tourist visa. So these are some important factors to be taken into account. So for that purpose, you have to keep your employment letter, you have to keep your last 3 months salary statement, and most recent 3 months bank statement to prove your economic solvency. And to prove your home country ties, you have to have other documents as well, like what job you do right now here, or what types of properties you have in your home country. So these are some issues that actually prove the home country ties. So those documents you have to keep with you. And along with that, I had to keep the Sweden tax receipt. Actually, that here I work and I pay tax, so this is my annual tax receipt statement from the Swedish tax agency. So these documents I had to keep with me. Now, my interview was really very short. I should say around 5 minutes it took. So when I went there, first of all, the consular officer asked me to give me the fingerprint of all the 10 fingers of my hand. So that was the biometric enrollment. The officer took the fingerprint, And then the first question was, why do you want to go to the United States? So my answer was, as I applied for tourist visa, so I said that just for tourism, and I had one invitation letter from one of my friends in the United States who lives in New Jersey. So his invitation letter was also with me. Yeah. So and then the officer asked me like, what do you do here in Sweden? So that was my reply. I am doing my PhD here. Then he asked me that when did you start your PhD, and how long is the PhD duration, and how many more years to go to complete the PhD, and what subject your research focus in this PhD. These are the questions. So my research area is artificial intelligence, the PhD. And then the officer asked me which city of the United States you want to visit. So just you be prepared to make your own reply. Whether you want to visit in New York or Washington DC or California, whatsoever. So you have to prepared well in advance, like which cities you want to visit, or who do you have, what friends or relatives you have in US, where do you want to visit. Because if you say that you will go for tourism, then they will want to know that which tourist spots you want to visit specifically. So be prepared that the tourist spots um, which you want to highlight, which you want to cover. Like you have, it can be New York Statue of Liberty, it can be Las Vegas, Nevada, or in California, or Washington DC Capitol Hill, or whatsoever. Yeah, so these were the questions actually my consular officer asked me. And then the officer said, okay, you are approved. So my decision was approved, so my visa was approved. And then basically they kept my passport, because the US B1 B2 visa, the tourist visa, or whatever it is, basically they paste it on one of the pages on the passport, so they keep your passport with you. And to collect your passport, there are two ways for the US embassy in Stockholm. One is by post. So you indicate that uh, you want your passport to be delivered via post to your home address. Then you have to pay a certain fee, around 260 Swedish krona, as the postal fee. Then they will send the passport to your home address by post. And another option is you can pick up in person. So I basically chose the option, the in-person pickup. So there was an office of VFS Global. So the US embassy, basically once they um, pays the passport, the visa, pays the visa on the passport, then they release this passport to the VFS Global office in Stockholm. And then I got an email from the US embassy that my passport has been released by the embassy to the VFS Global office in Stockholm. Then after getting the email, just few days later, I went to the VFS Global office in Stockholm and showed my photo ID card. So you have to show a photo ID card that to prove who you are. So it can be your national ID card or tax ID card or residence permit card, any valid, or driving license, any valid photo ID will do in Sweden. So you have to show your photo ID card. So I went to the VFS Global office, showed my photo ID card, and they gave me my passport back along with the visa. So it was US B1 B2 both combined for 5 years actually. So it varies from country to country. For Bangladesh, Bangladeshi passport holders, this B1 B2 visa duration is 5 years. But different countries have different length, so it depends. And like for Indian passport holders, this B1 B2 visa duration is 10 years. Yeah. So in this way, it depends on your country of nationality. And so then I collected and came back. And so actually, so just I would like to share uh, some tips if you are also going to face an interview for the US B1 or B2 in coming days. So basically, be prepared to prove your home country ties. That is the most important. And always remember that who has invited you to the US, or whatever guarantee he gives that you will come back to um, the your home country after completing the tourism trip. It hardly matters. What matters is how you yourself prove that you have strong root with your home country. That is more important rather than what guarantee your friend or relative gives who is staying in US or who you are willing to visit. Yeah. This is the most critical point, along with your economic solvency, your financial ability, your employment letter or bank statement or paycheck, and the tax payment proof, these documents. So that's all for today, and I wish you a very good luck for your upcoming US visa interview. And yeah, that's all. Thank you.